What is good, YouTube? This is a video on Luke Cage series that is a Marvel Netflix series that came out on the 30th September, which is today. It came out, I think, just after 8 o'clock. So this is going to be a sort of breakdown of my first thoughts of the first two episodes, and then depending on what I feel like, I may do a kind of mid-season kind of recap review thing and then do a season overview. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and like, as that helps my channel grow. So let's get into it. I'm going to try and keep it short. So Luke Cage, played by Mark Coulter, I believe it is, he works at a barber shop owned by someone called Pops, and he works for Mr. Stokes, aka Cottonmouth Club, in the kitchen, but he gets promoted to work as bar staff as one of the people calls in ill. So within the first 5 to 10 minutes you could tell that this series is going to be based around the nightclub, hip-hop music, and obviously because it's in Harlem, kind of there's a Biggie kind of theme going on throughout the episode. So he's having flashbacks and visions from when he was in prison. We see a clip of him getting beat up, which, considering he's bulletproof, is kind of funny, but we've got to see the past before we can see where the program is actually going. So Mr. Stokes, Cottonmouth, is kind of like one of the top people in Harlem, but interesting enough, his sister Mariah Stokes is the councilwoman, so he's up to loads of dodgy stuff even though he's got a legit club, and his cousin is the councillor of Harlem, I believe, so that's a pretty interesting thing. So the main vocal point of episode 1, A Moment of Truth, is there's some kind of gun deal going down, which it gets raided. Cottonmouth, aka Mr. Stokes, is the person selling the guns. Someone else raids it, and there's £1 million there up for grabs. So it's hit by a kid called Dante, who was involved with a robbing at the junkyard, and in Dante's dying word, he gave up his friends, which is interesting. So whilst Luke Cage was being the bartender for that night, he came across a woman called Misty Knight, who we find out later in the episode is actually a detective, although she said she was an audit, who's someone who kind of looks after numbers and stuff, which is quite interesting. So as I said before, he sees flashbacks from when he was in prison. He sees someone called Mr. Shades, and funny enough, he wears shades, which is quite ironic if you ask me. So he starts to freak out saying, did he see me, did he see me? I'm not too sure if they actually knew each other in prison. I'm getting the feeling he didn't. So Shamik Smith was found dead after Cottonmouth slapped him, punched him in the face. He was treating him like a kid, but then Shamik spat at him, and then he just beat him to an absolute pulp, as he seemed to be the leader of the robbery. And we see an epic, iconic Biggie Smalls picture in the background. I think that picture is quite iconic to his character and the feel of him. It's all about, he said something like, everybody wants to be king of Harlem, which is kind of like the hip hop scene in the time that it's set, the kind of mantra. So that was savage. And then they dump his body in the middle of the streets, but Misty Knight and the other detective think that this happened somewhere else. So the person who Luke Cage owes money to, who he rents a place with, their place gets kind of hit up in the sense that people come in, demand money, they don't get the money, then Luke Cage walks in saying something like, this is rude. And then one of the guys, I don't know everyone's name, there's a lot of people in there, and a lot of people who are only going to be in it for one episode. He goes, show him what you're famous for. So this dude punches him, and it breaks his hand, throws him out the window. Some of the guy shoots a bullet into his hand, bounces off, doesn't really do anything. and the guy takes a hit. He gives them all a beating basically without even trying. So we're starting to see some of his strength capacities, which is pretty cool. And then they give him some money and then say, we want to hire you. He's not for hire, but he says he will protect the premises. So pretty good moment of truth, pretty good first episode, pretty good overview, but we're only starting to see what Luke Cage can do. So the second episode is called Code of Streets. So before watching this, I thought the episode was going to have something to do with the streets, as that's what it is. So Misty Knight has some kind of vision when she's looking at the pictures from the murder at the junkyard, that she actually sees what happened. So I don't know. She says if you look hard enough, you can see what happens. So that's quite interesting. So her and the other I think Detective Scarf is his name. They're trying to work out what happened and why. So then we see Mr. Stokes. He has a cut throat shave at Pops's barbershop, and Luke Cage is there. Shade walks in, and Luke Cage is kind of trying to hide. Again, at this moment, we don't know if they knew each other. Based on the conversation that they had, I'm pretty sure they didn't know each other. Pops asks Mr. Stokes why his hands are cut, and he's like, haha, it's because I tried to shave myself. Ironically, Pops knows he's involved with Shamik getting beat to a pulp, basically. And then Shade starts talking about this boy called Chico, which is the other person who was involved with the robbery, who has the rest of the money, who is seen chucking his money around at the strip club. So they clearly come into Pops's cop shop, come into Pops's barbershop just to get information on Chico. So that's the kind of gist of what happened in there. So Mariah Stokes wants her money back, and obviously she can't get her money back until Cottonmouth, but don't call him Cottonmouth, he doesn't like being called Cottonmouth, until he gets his money back. So Luke finds Chico, as that's what he did in the past, Pop said, pretty fast. He's kind of like threatening with a gun, but he's just running scared basically. He said he won't come back, and funny enough, the cops turn up after Chico turns back at Pops's barbershop saying he's sorry, he didn't mean to do it, etc, etc. Luke tells him to go in the back, and then Turks comes in. Luke tells him to go away, and then interesting enough, Turk knows Misty Knight as she grew up in that area, as we find out a little bit later on, and I presume she's a vocal character to the whole season, as she's credited to be in every episode. So that's kind of what's happened there. And this is Luke says 5-0, 5-0 here, which is quite funny because when people were younger they used to say that, so it's pretty cool that they say that. So Luke comes out the back and he finds out that Misty Knight, the audit, is actually a detective, and he's saying, oh, people telling him the truth. So there's kind of some sexual chemistry, some bants that's going on between them. Luke goes to Stokes to kind of try and save Chico without him being killed. And Stokes does agree to see Pops the next day for a haircut, and they talk about it with only him, as he doesn't want him being Chico getting killed just like Shamik got killed, as him and Pops have some history, as they used to be OGs together, as it was discovered. And then Turks, the little grass, told him where Chico was, and then the barber shop got shot up, so Pops ends up dying, which is pretty savage and emotional. And Luke Cage saves the kid, the cops show up, and then Misty Knight keeps wondering, how did Luke Cage not get hurt when he's got bullet holes and everything inside him? When Mr. Stokes finds this out, he's absolutely pissed, because he was friends with Pops. Pops was his friend, and the guy that did it, he threw him off the roof and just went crazy. Mariah Stokes got her money, and then the episode ended where it started, with the kid holding a gun up to him. Let me quote him. He says, why are you here, nigger? Young man, I've had a long day, I'm tired, but I'm not tired enough to ever let anybody call me that word. And then he just goes mental saying, if you're going to shoot me, shoot me. And then he shoots himself, obviously he's bulletproof. So this is setting the tone for the overall season. I mean, it's pretty good, pretty decent 2 first episodes. We're setting the tone, we're finding out some history about Luke Cage. Hopefully we will find out how Luke Cage got his strength. But if you've read the comic books, I've done some basic research, I kind of know a bit about it. I presume Diamondback will be coming into it at some point, and that kind of shabazz. So clearly Mr. Soap's Cottonmouth is absolutely furious that Pops, his friend, has been killed. Anyway guys, this is Warstu on my review of the first 2 episodes, Moment of Truth, Code of Street. I'll be doing another video on episode 6 or 7 where I'll do an overview of the episodes missed, and then we're doing a season finale kind of episode review of the whole season, as I just want to review these briefly. I don't want to make 12 videos out of it like some other YouTubers will, you know what I mean? So subscribe, like, comment, wash you out, peace.